everybody, and welcome to another episode of Web3 Weekly. I am Crypto Kenny, and today we have a very personally, I'm very excited about the guests we have on today. Before we get started, if you guys missed the episode last week, we did an educational cast on building portfolios, distribution of funds and portfolios in regards to traditional markets and Web3. So if you haven't watched that video yet, the link will be right up here in the corner. Definitely go back and watch that. We've had several really great guests and videos on the last couple episodes, so check that out. Also, if you want to see any of the content that we drop here or any of the tools or analytics that we talk about, link below in the description will be the Alpha Mutants Discord and social media. Come on in. Got any questions or comments about anything that we talk about here today, you can definitely ping me or one of the team in there. We'll help you out as we can. All right. So today, very excited to have a member of the Bodega Project on here, Bluefin. He is with us today. We're going to be talking about his project and specifically the uniqueness of the project itself, and they're one of the most unique projects I've seen lately, and they have a really interesting utility that goes along. So I'm really excited to hear some about that. We're going to talk about the art they've integrated with the project along with the utility. You can't beat the combo of art and utility. And then we're just going to ask them some questions, talk a little bit about the crypto markets. But Bluefin, thank you very much for being on with me today. I really appreciate the time to speak with me and the communities that listen to the podcast.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for the invite and all the support so far from Alpha Mutants. I like seeing the growing relationship between Alpha Mutants and Bodega Blocks. You guys are very seem really educated in general market and NFTs, and seems like you have a really good core group of community members. So yeah, it's cool to kind of continue to build this relationship and talk about stuff. As you joined one of our random spaces the other day, and we kind of chit-chatted for like an hour just about stuff like this and market conditions and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it was good. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed the interaction I've had with your team and your community so far. It's been really enlightening, and like I said, it's anytime I see you guys jump up on a AMA or a spaces or whatever, I try to get on there because it's always something interesting going on. But all right, so let's get into some of this and just talk about a few things here. So I think probably the place to start would be for you just to give us an overview of Bodega, the project. Just basically give us a broad overview of what it is, what your guys' goal and concept is with the project, and just let everybody know what we're going to be talking about here today.
Yeah, sure. So Bodega Blocks is a utility-focused urban art project delivering consistent passive stablecoin rewards, and we're building it as your hedge against crypto volatility. So in a nutshell, it is an NFT art project meets DeFi, more or less, and it's kind of a one of those things where it's a sum of all of our parts. We have 7 core team members, and we have varied experience in the crypto scene, so to speak. DeFi, NFTs, master noding. We've been a part of other projects, other projects on the core team side, on the development side, and on the community management side. So we have kind of a good variety of experience, and it's kind of all accumulated into Bodega Blocks.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. So let me ask you, because I'm not even sure I've got the whole rundown of this. So when was the concept, the initial concept of Bodega Blocks? Like when was the birth of that? Like when did that happen, and how did that come together? Who was the initial team that had to come together and started talking about the concept? Because I love hearing like origin stories of how ideas like this come together.
Yeah. So the core team, we've been friends for about a year now, and then we eventually just kind of started our own little server, just us, and kind of one of those things where we were all we were involved in another project, and then we kind of it started off as a group chat that was like, all right, we're talking about too much stuff, we can't follow everything, so we need to set up our own server. No, because we were tracking pre-sales, private sales, basically just doing our best to be shit coining pros at at that point. And we're like, this is too much to track. So anyways, then we then on our little micro server, we just start talking about ideating about projects, because it's always fun to say, man, I would like, we should start this token, or we should start a token, we should do this, we should do that, and like just for fun. And especially after getting rugged so many times, you're like, all right, like you just start checking things off the list on what you don't want to see, and even like projects that you think are going to be good just end up to be total crap. And so you're like, all right, like you just start building the list of things to avoid. And we're just ideating about different stuff, and like as we kind of go along, the ideas get a little bit more serious. And we were it got to a point maybe last summer, maybe fall, we're like, like if we're actually going to keep talking about this, let's think about stuff that we can do that is fun and cool and legit, and that we can do correctly, that we can do it the right way, that we can do it with integrity. And we can because we're gonna we're not only are you putting your time on the line, your money on the line, but you're putting your reputation on the line. And like we didn't want to jump into anything that had a super high, even though it's all there's risk everywhere, but we wanted to minimize as much risk as possible, and we want to do it with integrity. So we just started like ideating and kind of going through a checklist, like can we do this correctly, can we do blah 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 blah. And then we kind of came up with the idea of a kind of a pass kind of system, because we're experienced in DeFi, but there's a lot of problems with or not problems. There's a lot of complications with DeFi, and especially with like managing liquidity pools and a huge like ecosystem of smart contracts that you really have to be very very like skilled at navigating. And being in the NFT space, we're like, we could do this. Like some of the guys have been master noding for a while. Like, this master noding thing could be a good avenue, but we didn't really know how to implement it. And being like we're very art oriented, especially myself and a couple of the other guys. And so we're like, yeah, we don't really want to do a pass. Like we didn't really know. Like it was kind of just an idea that was taking shape. And then a friend of mine who I've known for like 20 years, I was on his Instagram and kind of looking at his art. I'm like, then I reached out to him. I was like, dude, are you in the NFT space? And he's like, no, I'm not. He does graphic design for like rap artists and electronic music musicians and all sorts of like anime style like graphic design. And he had these bodegas, like we call them internally, like the OG bodegas that he did. And I sent it to the group. I was like, you guys check out this art. And then it like sparked this inspiration, because what we found out, I mean, we have our core team is half of us are kind of scattered through the United States. Then we have, a couple guys in New Zealand, a guy in Australia, one of the like guys in New Zealand, and the guy in Australia. they're from other places, so they immigrated to both those countries, and so we have a fairly decent global view.
Mhm.
And what we found in our conversations is that the bodega, it's based off of the OG bodegas are based off real life buildings in Japan, like in Tokyo. And what we found is that this concept of a small neighborhood shop that services their community, typically like the owners live above it, like they're open 24/7, like it's like universal, like the idea of a bodega or a conveni in Japan, or I think it's a series shop in Indonesia, and in India they're called I'm spacing now, Karana. They're ubiquitous around the globe,
Yeah.
and they come in like different shapes and forms, but basically like okay, like this is a thing. And what do these bodegas do? Well, they service the community. They provide essentials. They are like cornerstones of the kind of the neighborhood and the culture, and they generate revenue. And for the owner, if it's not owner occupied, generates rent. And so that kind of was like, hey, we're already thinking about this kind of a passive rewards idea. So maybe this is the kind of the bridge between dope art and our passive rewards idea. And so kind of that's how it came into be.
Huh. Yeah, it sounds like that's a very natural correlation to make, right, with what you guys were wanting to do. It makes a lot of sense now that you like explain it like that. That's cool. I like that. I like the correlation between the cornerstone passive like income and just the traditional bodega style shops. That's cool. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's like a level of stability. You go, I've lived in neighborhoods, and I remember when I was up in Minneapolis, there was a little bodega right down the street, and it was like the stable presence. I mean, it could be the middle of winter in a winter storm, and they would be open. And I knew that, I could just walk a couple blocks down, get a sandwich. It was a Middle Eastern family owned it, and man, they had like the best falafel
Yeah.
I've ever had. So I was like going there, and then it was right on the bus stop. So I just like go there, pick up a falafel, pick up laundry detergent and a drink, hop on the bus, go to the laundromat, and like that was like the routine.
Yeah.
And it was like rain, sleet, or snow or sunshine. I mean, that was the deal. And so it was, kind of that level of stability and reliability that really translates to what we're doing with the passive rewards, and kind of providing a stable investment opportunity for our holders.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the art for just a minute. So with the when the mint comes for you guys, so it explain to me the process of, everyone understands like generative PFPs, right? We understand that the layering of generative PFPs and how that works and everything. Explain to me the art and how that's going to work with minting. So if I go on mint day and I mint, two bodegas, is there a level of layering and generativeness to it? Is it something that's one for one on every one? Like, what is the approach you've taken with the art for these?
Yeah. So what we're doing is really interesting and innovative, and I would say that we are definitely innovating in the generative art space. We're one of the first. I've not seen another one, but I assume with the thousands of projects out there, there's probably another one or two. But we're one of the first to create a generative methodology for isometric building art.
Okay.
Which, yeah, isometric buildings. It's 2D, but kind of has that 3D look. And so when you're thinking about how to create those in a way that can be randomly generated, you have to build each piece separately, right? So we have and I'd be happy to show you some imagery here, but basically, you have to build each part, the foundation, the first level, the second level, and that first level, if it'll be randomly generated. So, you have to have the first level stand on its own. So, you have the two walls in the foreground, and you have the roof and the parapet walls. And then if you have a second floor, the second floor has to be on top of that and look good. And then you have a variety of different of skins, basically like, different materials and colors for the building and the additions. And then you have signage and utility poles and, radio towers and like internet stuff. And so, yeah, it's really unique. And then, we're one of the rare projects that includes NFTs from other projects and from other artists within our collection. And I'm gonna say that we're the first, at least one of the first, to incorporate guest NFTs into a non-derivative collection, kind of in the manner that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I can, if I
Yeah,
can
definitely.
share
Yeah.
my screen, might be a better. Let me know when you disable the screen.
Oh yeah, let me put it on screen share here. While we're talking about that, so how did you go about getting these other NFT projects, these collabs to be able to put in your generative collection here? Like how was what was the process on that?
Yeah, so basically just networking and building relationships in the NFT artist space. So I'm a big art collector, and if NFTs are like especially dangerous for me because not only can I be a crypto ape sometimes, but I'm also like an art simp. I'm an art ape, and like, I really don't have a reason to. I don't have to have a reason to buy the art other than I think it looks cool. So, like having all this dope art like at a click of a button to be able to acquire is fun, but it can be kind of dangerous because I'm just like collecting. But you through the process of being a collector, you meet some really fantastic artists. And the Web3 space, especially in the like the one of one NFT art space, is like really really awesome, really collaborative. And where everybody's, it's so new in the industry, and there's artists moving from real gallery spaces, real life gallery spaces into NFT space. They're graphic designers that are now doing NFT art. It's kind of like it's kind of a inflection point for creativity. And so, yeah, there's a lot of hunger out there to do new stuff. And so we're just kind of building a network. Probably the most one of the jumping off points was Sabet's Tokyo Punks collection.
Oh, okay.
So his collection, the Tokyo Punks, is a hand painted generative collection, which is really unique. And part of that collection were the use of full commercial rights to create derivatives and sell them. And so now I started thinking, we have these buildings, and what's more dope than seeing a mural on the side of a building? And we have these Tokyo Punks NFTs. We have full flexibility to use them however we want. Let's throw them up on the side of the building and see what it looks like. And it looked super dope. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
that was like, okay, let's do this. Let's see if anybody else is interested. And that's kind of when I started reaching out to different artists. And we have a good group now that are going to be part of it, and have been like nice enough to allow to basically grant us a commercial Creative Commons license to create derivatives of their work. So basically, these derivatives are we're buying the NFTs. Then, because we have the rights to create derivatives of them, we are embedding them in our collection. those are the resulting the NFTs that are produced with the art on the walls or the signage are then derivatives of that original piece, and they also represent legendary traits within our collection.
That's awesome, man. I love the idea of the art on the walls of the bodega. It literally gives like an additional layer to the NFT itself, which I find, the more depth you can put into an NFT collection like that, it just seems fantastic to me. I love the idea. So your
Mhm.
screen is shareable now. If you wanted to bring up
Okay.
some of the art here to show everybody, that would be
Yep.
great. All right,
Yep.
fantastic.
All right. Can you see that all right?
Yep, looks great. I got it.
Okay. So this is something our artists put together. And so White Squid Tokyo, he'd never been in the Web3 space at all,
Mhm.
or the crypto space. So we're introducing him to, to the market, and it's been great. And it's kind of like one of those things where they're, you know, we're we're able to innovate because we don't have preconceived notions of the way things should be done.
Mhm.
And it goes through the build process here.
Yeah, the layering, art murals. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. Additional expansions.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's the different foundations, of which we have about 40. We have 20 rectangular foundations like this. We have 20 of the square foundations. Then, we have the building, the addition, the expansions that are possible, different grasses, etc., signage, utility poles, murals, and that's kind of the down and dirty.
That's awesome, man. I love
Yeah.
that. I think it's really great too. I've noticed this a lot lately. I've been doing 4 or 5 collabs a week as we're moving up to mint date and everything, and it's crazy the amount of projects that are onboarding artists, Web 2 developers, even like community managers and writers. I know that probably half of our development staff we brought in from like Web 2, right? So our artist had never done anything in Web 3 or crypto. Our writer had invested a little bit into like cryptocurrencies, but he had never been involved that much in crypto. And bringing these guys into it and watching them like realize the potential, especially
Mhm.
for artists, especially for art and artists to be able to monetize their skills and do so many more things than that was ever able to be done on Web 2 is really amazing. And I think that's one of the really neat things that I've noticed lately is just projects, onboarding people just for development and getting those people to continue in the space. And it's a pretty neat system how it works.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it, at the very, very least, at the very like minimum, Web3 NFTs, it is going to forever alter the way that digital art is transacted. It is the future on how art is sold and acquired. Um,
Hmm.
and that is, like, then that's why I tell my friends, like my friends who aren't into this at all and who are kind of like, yeah, crypto's kind of sketchy, and NFTs, like, what the hell are those? And basically, like, yeah, look, at the very least, this is the future on how digital art will be transacted. So
Yeah,
you guys should experience it.
yeah, I 100% agree with you on that, and I'm what's called I'm often called a skeptic in the space, because I'm very skeptical of many things. But the one of the few things that I have really found conviction in the space is that I'm not sure what NFTs are going to be used for in the future. There's a lot of use cases. I don't know what use cases are going to be regulated out. I don't know what use cases are going to be allowed or even taken advantage of for the next 10, 20 years. But I do know that the ability to definitively and verifiably own art and to move that seamlessly around the world with no cost to yourself and throw that into digital galleries everywhere, or even in real life representations of digital galleries, is a massive technology leap in the art field. And I
Yep.
think that giving the ability of an artist to monetize themselves simply, in a lot of cases without even having to have any knowledge of coding or anything like that. There's plenty of services that they can just on-chain their own art. I think it's
Yep.
massive. I think it's massive for graphic and traditional artists. I think it's massive for musical artists and many other types of art in that sense. So that it is one of the few convictions I really have in the space. There's a lot of stuff in the space that's still kind of up for grabs. We don't know where it's going to go, or if it's
Mhm.
going to stick. But yeah, for sure. That's why a lot of a lot of my investment in the space centers around historical art, and then new utility and development of art in the space. Because in my mind, that is one of the safer bets you could make in the space currently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, just the ability to have a digital footprint, like actual provenance for digital art, is really groundbreaking because the right click save as
Yeah.
present. I mean, it's still out there, but
Mhm.
now somebody can say, yes, I am the owner of this, and this NFT is the token of my ownership of
Mhm.
the art. Is pretty cool.
100%. I mean, and it does solve an age old problem of just like counterfeiting. Like art's been so plagued with counterfeits over the years. I mean, I don't understand why people can't see that use case. It's very obvious. But so
Mhm.
let's get on to a couple more of these. I could do art talk with people for days, but let's get a few more of the nuts and bolts of the project itself.
Yep.
So on the back end of what you guys are doing to create these passive yields for people. So you're basing that on node operation, correct?
Yep. Yep. So, as I said, we have a couple core team members who have been doing this for about a year and a half, and whether it's master noding or share noding. And so they've been able to see the validity in that and see the consistency of those returns. And of course, there's different ways. And basically, as I understand, I'm more on the art side. I'm not so much on the node side, but basically you're investing in different blockchains, and those blockchains, you're validating, you're setting up equipment, and you're basically you get rewarded for allowing that blockchain to basically send transactions through your gear or through a shared gear service, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
my company outside of the Alpha Mutants project, my company operates some nodes. We have for quite a while, but I've always tried to explain to people it's difficult, right? Because if you're not talking to somebody that's not familiar with the structure of blockchains and Web3, it's harder to do. So my go to is always it's always like, well, I said, like the credit card processing companies, when you're at Walmart and you swipe your credit card and they take a small transaction fee. Like I said, that's basically what node operation is. It's the middleman that verifies the transaction. So that's been the easiest way that
yeah,
I can explain it to people that just aren't really up to date with the space. But all right, so
yep.
that's fantastic.
And I think there's a barrier to entry because there's upfront costs, and for equipment, but there's also upfront costs on like initial buy-in, right? So
Yep.
you to become a validator, you need X amount of like native coins, which
Mhm.
you need to purchase and basically stake, essentially,
Yep.
on the chain. And so you get rewarded for that, but there is upfront cost, and that's kind of why we thought, with the using NFTs as a vehicle, we are able to get that get that liquidity to jump in on
Right.
it.
Right.
And
And
yeah,
it's, I mean, it's almost akin to fractionalizing like blue chip NFTs, right? So it's been popular, specifically at the end of last year. These fractionalization of Bored Apes, of CryptoPunks, of Fidenzas, these type of things. And it's initially the same thing, because the average person can't go out there and spend 100 grand to become to purchase a Gatla node, right? It's just the average person can't. So when you fractionalize these things, it allows people to have exposure to node operation in different blockchains without having to have so much capital, which is a concept that's been around forever, and I think it's great that you guys are bringing it into the NFT space. So yeah.
yeah. And I'll share I'll share it's a work in progress. We're still fine tuning it a little bit. But I will share our infograph with you. You're the first to see it, or all these viewers are going to be the first to see it outside the core team.
Fantastic.
Sure.
We like alpha. It's in our name.
Yeah. Oh, oops, sorry. That's another thing. Hold on here. Why am I? This is a batik that I own, which is it's from Indonesia. It's like it's dye on fabric that's been applied through a wax application process. And anyways, took a photo of it. We're gonna put it on a sign on one of the bodegas. But I lost
Nice.
the photo that I was trying to actually show here. Hold on. No. Yeah, let me just. I had it queued up and I don't know what happened.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. Those of us in the space understand technical difficulties. Anyone that's ever done a Twitter Spaces or tried to host one of those knows all about technical difficulties.
Oh yeah,
As
for
as
sure.
we have running bets when we go and do Twitter Spaces, like we have these running bets of like how many times we're going to get cut off, or how many times like the whole group's going to be muted or whatever. It's just it's ridiculous. You would think that that with Twitter and Discord being utilized so much in the crypto space, that they would start making it a little bit more friendly to users like us. But hopefully that's something that happens in the future. But
Yeah, totally. Why is this not even showing up? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's for some reason I am not able to I'm not able to pull it up, and I don't know what's going on here.
oh, that's
But
fine.
that's okay. Yeah,
That's fine,
that's
man.
fine.
What we got
I'll
most.
try to keep pulling it up while we
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, you just let me know if you
do
do.
it.
Well, that kind of
Okay.
leads into another question I had. So your guys' mint, I don't think you've set an exact date. Not neither have we. Market conditions being like they are, but we do have an approximate guesstimation time here for the end of July, the last week in July. But what has been some of the what mint details can you guys share with us, and then what challenges have you faced leading up to mint, if any? And I like to hear about the challenges that come up with projects, and how we figure them out and push through them, because in this space that develops so quickly, you have to be almost on your toes constantly. And so what's been the process like for you guys leading up to mint?
Yeah, we've kind of been, we've been kind of taking our time, like I think that this bear market has provided the luxury of time for us and for other projects to really dial in what we're doing. I mean, there's no rush right now.
Right.
We're not trying to we're not trying to set unreasonable deadlines or expectations. And we especially as the price of ETH is just kind of going up and down, more down. We are using it to really hone in on the more foundational elements of the project and of the art. Just so like we initially were like, okay, let's try to let's go for early early mid-June. Like that's kind of what we were internally thinking. And then as the market kind of started doing what it was doing, we're like, yeah, like we can push it back. And then we just implemented we'll kind of look at it every week, like from a 3-week perspective, and then just make the decision. So, we want to give our holders at least a like at minimum a 2 week heads up on the mint date.
Yeah.
So we want to make that decision, at minimum 1 week prior to that. So that's where the 3 weeks came from. And so we're just kind of scoping out the market, like we would love to, we would love to have these NFTs for like $300, for example. And it's a nice round number. And we can, when ETH was up, that was, 0.07, 0.08. But now it's what, 0.3. And so, selling NFT for 0.3, for people who bought ETH high, is prohibitive. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be, you can mint with ETH, but you can also mint with USDT, or you can mint with USDC as well.
That's fantastic. I actually have not seen many projects do that, and I've wondered why in high volatility times, because to someone like me, the price of ETH doesn't matter to me one way or the other, right? In fact, I'm enjoying this time because there's projects that have undercut their value because they're afraid to list at 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, when it's really $300, $400, $500, right? So it's not that
right.
the base has changed. It's just the perception has changed. So, for people like me, it's a really great time. For people that are in stable coins, it's a really great time. But I've always wondered question the choice of projects not to allow minting in USDC. It just never made a whole lot of sense, because obviously every project is pegging their ETH value to a certain value of USDC, because any project that holds all of their treasury in ETH afterwards is being way too risky, in my opinion. I think once a mint's done, that everything needs, or the majority needs to be switched over into stable coins anyway, so that the community treasury can be properly managed.
Yep.
So it's a real interesting time frame, and that kind of runs into another question, was just the state of the market itself, which we've already kind of talked about. This is, we all know that we're running in a bear market, and that bear market is hasn't showed any real signs of stabilization yet. We're still seeing some downside. I know in Alpha Mutants last night, we took a short last night and pulled out this morning and made some decent money on it. But we haven't found that verifiable bottom yet. So I think that, in my opinion, it doesn't matter to me personally with our project, whether we mint if ETH's at $600 or 6,000, but it does matter if there is the volatility level, right? That does matter. So I think that's what a lot of projects are looking for right now, is just to see that sideways action and that stabilization to get back going again. So hopefully that happens.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, hopefully that happens soon.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and to your point about the treasury, we're basically, so our rewards are in stablecoin USDT right now. I mean, we can pivot at any time to USDC or whatever. But yeah, as soon as the mint comes in, we're converting any ETH into stablecoin right away. And the level of rewards is pegged to the USD dollar amount of the mint price, not ETH. So that's why when we can say we're going to do 50% APY on the mint price, that's what it's pegged to. And so there's we get away from pegging it to ETH, because it could be higher, it could be lower, but doing the stable coin throughout is a way that we kind of provide that reliability. And here let's see, I think I got the deal. I'm gonna circle back.
Oh, fantastic.
I had to open up the image, snip it, save it.
Oh.
So, all right, see that?
There we go. Yep, got it.
Yeah, so basically, yep, you come in, you mint the NFT, the money goes into the to the pool. We have, then like the mints here, we have we deploy investments into master nodes. We have a portion, this is a work in progress, so there's a small arrow that would go between here and here for treasury operations and development. And then, here the reward, the investment rewards pool, generates, through our experience with master noding, it's between usually like 6 to 8%. It can be even higher, 10%, 15% returns. But basically, like, 6 to 8 is a good conservative estimate on a monthly return basis. So that's how we can say we're willing to guarantee more or less that 4% will go back to the holder of the NFT. And that's based on the mint price. So if it's $300, that's what, $12 that's coming back every month to the holder. And then any additional any delta between what the actual monthly return is and what we distribute, that is mostly staying within the pool. But then also, as I said, this work in progress, there's going to be an arrow going here as well, going into treasury operations and development. So, we're going to have in reserve 2 or 3 months of rewards should this pool generate 2% for the month, for example. So if this generates 2% a month, we'll pull from the treasury to deliver the 4%.
Fantastic model. I was gonna.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you go.
So I was gonna say with this operate. So I like the model here. I like what you guys are doing with it, and I like the conservative play on it, right? Because it's easy, and we've all seen it. We've seen NFT projects that come out and promise a token afterwards or promise some kind of investment returns of 50% a month or 100% APY, all this stuff. And inevitably, I've been in traditional markets for over a decade, and I know when things are too good to be true, they're too good to be true, right? You can't, things work for a while until they don't. But when you look at that percentage, that sweet spot, at about 8% and paying out, about half of that back to the people, like that's doable. Like that gets done just purchasing the QQQ on in the stock market, right? It's sustainable. It's a good return. It's a more conservative investment. You don't feel like you're aping into the latest dog coin or whatever to try to make some money. So I really like it. I almost think of your guys' project as a solid dividend stock with bomb ass art attached to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the way that I view it. And me and Nate have talked at length about about this type of thing, and just that this is our vision for utility NFTs, right? It's to be those dividend stocks, those investments. And the cool part about NFTs is you can throw some art, some gamification, a community along with that. So it's in that aspect, it's better and it's more fun than even the traditional market. So yeah,
right.
But
yeah, totally. Yeah. And that's exactly the direction we're going. As we go into phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, that's when we're going to start introducing the more of the gamification aspect, and then the kind of the added value, the cube that we have, the ability to mint land, quote unquote, and basically, increase your investment, being able to take, to get 6 parcels, and these will be cheap. These will be like super cheap mints. Be able to have like six parcels to create a block, and then you can, convert, 3 bodegas into a bigger building, a bigger bodega, like a condo building, an office building, that kind of thing to increase your
Yeah.
rewards. You can add, they'll have like a marketplace. You can add radio towers on top. You can add, XYZ, different like levels of like gamified monetization.
Yeah.
So you can increase your rewards on that, your percentage yield monthly, and we have, there's, you have the ability to increase just by, if you're down here and there's a listing for an NFT that's below mint price and you buy it, you generate higher APR because you're buying it underneath that $300. So if you, instead of having a 50% return per year, if you buy an NFT at $200, you're getting 75% return per year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that,
Just interrupt you just for a second for that. So yeah,
yeah,
so I've talked with several people about this when I like realized that this was the setup of your guys' thing, and like I hope you guys are absolutely successful. But part of me just really hopes that there's a bit of a dump at some point so I can
yeah,
like I love I love arbitrage plays like this, and like
yeah,
and I think that that's fantastic. I would love to see to be able to pick up a few of those at below mint prices and stuff. So
totally,
fantastic model.
totally. Yeah, and that'll be the fun part to watch. And we do want to provide that opportunity for holders to uh to decrease their average price so they have a higher return rate. But we don't want we also have floor stability and we're not at this point, we're not going to guarantee, but we're looking at guaranteeing a floor price that doesn't go below mint price for a certain amount of time. So basically, like, somebody lists below at $200, we're gonna let it ride for a little while so that holders have the opportunity to buy low. And then we will trigger our buyback and burn. So basically, we're gonna buy it, we're gonna buy it back, we're gonna burn it, and we're gonna send it off chain. It's gonna decrease the supply, and by doing that, it keeps the rewards pool the same, but the supply is lower. So each holder will get, for every burn, will get a small percentage higher return every time that's done.
Yeah, so it incrementally increases the value of every other remaining
Yep.
bodega each time something like that's done. Fantastic
Yep.
model, guys. So you
Yeah,
guys have
totally.
you can tell that you guys have really done put a lot of thought and work into this, and I love that. I mean, that in itself is some gamification to it, right? Because
Yeah.
it stabilizes the floor, and there's some arbitrage things there. So I'm really huge on gamified NFTs, and I've been involved with like quite a few of them in the project, and I don't know if you or any of your team has gotten the chance to read our white paper. We just dropped it a couple days ago, but one of the aspects of our yields with alpha mutants, of course, our Genesis collection is going to have monthly distributions of the yields of the treasury, and we decided, instead of doing that as a just a traditional airdrop evened out, we decided to provide gamification in that also, to where we take the the percentage of payouts to the, or yields to the that goes to the community each month, and those go into different pools that each holder will be able to put for each NFT they hold. We'll be able to put a ticket in each of those pools, so that there's a potential for you to have a base payout, or to have a larger payout. But it adds a gamification to it, because, oh well, what if one person they have five and they put all of it into one, they have a larger chance of winning a certain payout, but it also makes the other ones easier to win. So we want to see how that
Mhm.
model works and kind of develop it over time. But I love doing that because I think it encourages community engagement, but it makes investing fun, right? So I think that's part of
Yep.
one of the really great things that Web3 does. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned your Genesis Mint because I forgot we started talking. I just kind of glanced over it. For us, we're also going to do a Genesis. That'll be the first mint. It'll be 1111 Genesis NFTs, and then we will roll into the public mint. After that, that'll be the larger collection, and then that's basically as soon as the Genesis mint happens, that's when we're triggering the further development of the additional phases. So
fantastic, man. I'm
yeah,
excited about it. I hope the markets stabilize and to where we can get to this. I'm excited about minting these with you guys. So definitely, it's been one of the few projects I've been really like continuing to get information from and converse with the team with. So we're coming up on the end of our time frame here, but
yep,
so I guess just to lead out. Obviously, thank you so much for getting on with us today and just talking about Bodega Blocks. Fantastic project in my opinion. Not financial advice, obviously, but these guys have I've had dozens of hours of time talking to them over AMAs and Twitter Spaces and in Discord and
mm-hmm.
everything. It seems like a great team. The art's fantastic. The utility and concept behind it's fantastic. We love to promote utility based NFTs, and if they've got good art with it, that's just a bonus. But
Mm-hmm.
so just any final words, and obviously, guys, down below I will have right down below with the links for Alpha Mutants Discord and Twitter Spaces. I will also link Bodega Blocks Discord and their social medias down below. So anybody that is not currently in their Discord or currently following them on their social medias, do so that you get the notification when the mint time comes and that you keep up to date and get to see some sneak peeks on their arts and that kind of thing. So definitely, if you're not already in there, definitely go check all that stuff out. But so just going out, do you have any final thoughts or final words that you'd like to let everybody know about Bodega Blocks or final advice on the market, whatever? You can close us out, man.
Yeah, no, yeah. Thanks for having us. Yeah, I would just say we'd love to see people in our Discord engaging with us. We want to make the project. We want to make the project whatever you want it to be. If you just want a passive experience, no pressure to hang out in the Discord or get your rank up or anything like that. You can just scope us out, track the mint dates, turn your notifications on so you don't miss it, and kind of enjoy your passive rewards. You can beyond. We love to conversate with everybody. So just come into the server and choose your own adventure and kind of stay tuned for different art engagement events and announcements on the mint date.
Fantastic. So once again, guys, Bluefin, thank you so much. Appreciate having builders like you and your team giving us information and alpha about projects coming up. So
Yeah,
everybody
thank you.
else, we hope that you enjoyed the episode. Hope that you took down some information about this project in the space, and take the time to go and check out these projects. Don't take our words for it. Get in the communities, look at the art, look at the utility, converse with the teams, and let's all build together. So we will see you guys
Amen.
next time.